So we are now in the third shop on the series I'm doing where I compare a Steam machine to a custom PC with current offerings available from online retailers. At this point I've looked at American retailers, and of course Best Buy is another American retailer, but I'm going to look at a few different ones, not just American retailers. But I think Best Buy is a good one to look at because it's one of those stores where a lot of people have access to it, even if it isn't necessarily a computer store. But it does still stock quite a few good parts, and there are so many stores that I'm pretty sure if you are in the US, you will be able to get one. One thing that I've seen with Best Buy is stock can be a limitation, but it is one of those things where, you know, a shop like this, which is sort of like a mass mart type of shop, isn't going to have all of the specifics when it comes to computers in stock. So starting out, we've chosen, and this is also based on the stock that was available. I went for Florida just because I think it's one of the locations that would have most items available, but even that has some limitation. So I've opted for the MSI B650 Pro. Now this one does have Wi-Fi included. I'm pretty sure it's Wi-Fi 6E. That's correct. And this is of course a relatively standard motherboard, but it's quite a nice one. It does have a series of features and decent I/O available. Not amazing I/O, but you know, there's enough USB support, and you have your Wi-Fi and all of that. You do have a couple of NVMe slots, a couple of PCIe slots, 4 DIMM slots, and all in all the motherboard looks quite nice, which to me matters. It won't matter to everyone. But all in all, it's a relatively good motherboard, and price wise I actually think it's not too bad. Moving on to the CPU here, and we do have the Ryzen 5 7600X, which is the same one I've chosen for each of these videos now. As long as it's in stock, I'm going to try and keep it consistent. This one comes in at $200. It's a little bit expensive. And this is of course a 6-core 12-thread CPU. It's pretty good for gaming, and as a comparison to the Steam machine, it's a good comparison to make to what they most probably will have in the Steam machine. Perhaps this is going to be a generation or two behind what that would have, but in terms of performance, I think it's going to be very close. The hot topic right now, of course, is RAM, and would you look at that price? Here's the thing, I looked at a bunch of locations, and this Crucial RAM was the only kit in stock, and you know, this price is ridiculous. I mean, no one's going to pay $260 for 32 gigs of RAM. This isn't even that fast as far as DDR5 goes, and you know, it just is what it is. I think with RAM right now, you know, if you can get it secondhand, that's a good thing to do, but if you can't, I mean, if you have to pay these prices, it's just crazy. You know, this kit shouldn't be more than $120, $130, but here we are, and it is what it is. This is the only one that I could find in stock, so this is upping the price massively. This is what you should pay for the graphics card, not for the RAM. And consider that the graphics cards are about to get a bit more expensive as well because of these RAM issues. So it's a tough time to be a gamer that has to build a new PC because it's not looking good. And of course, Crucial itself is withdrawing from the consumer market. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but they are pulling out, which is just going to push the price up more, because Crucial are one of the top providers of RAM to the consumer market. You know, them and Corsair and a few others. And Crucial are known for budget prices as well, so it's going to push up even more. The only thing I can say is probably don't build a PC right now, and this is probably going to push up the price of the Steam Deck as well. So it is what it is. No one's happy about it, but you know, because of AI, what can you do? AI is going nowhere for a while. You know, the bubble might burst, but it's not going to burst real soon. So even if it does, you know, there might be a fallout, there might be some cheap prices for a while, but prices don't usually come down very much again. Moving on to the graphics card, and this one's a decent price considering that it's the same price as the RAM, cheaper actually. It's crazy to me that you can find a 5050 with 8 gigs of VRAM for the same price as 32 gigs of DDR5 slow DDR5 RAM. It's just a crazy time. So this is a decent card. We've looked at it a few times now. This variant looks quite nice. This is the Ventus variant from actually this is the Shadow, not the Ventus, from MSI, but it looks a lot like the Ventus. And it's just a good card, you know. It is GDDR6, it is Blackwell, and as long as you're okay with using upscaling and rate, you know, the new set of features for DLSS and stuff like that, it'll be fine, even at 4K for some games. For esports, you'll be 100%. So moving on to another crucial part here, in two ways. The SSD, and again, this is the only thing that I could find that was actually in stock, so I had to choose something a bit more expensive than I would have liked, but this is a Gen 4, so that's relatively fast, NVMe, and this is the crucial 1TB P310. So, you know, with them withdrawing from their market, all of these things are going to become more expensive. This one comes in at $107, so it's not a terrible price. It's a decent price, and yeah, I think this is a good choice to make. But again, it's when you look at Best Buy's website, there isn't a lot of choice. Moving on to the this one I want to keep for the end. Actually, let's move on to the power supply for now. So this is the Thermaltake Smart 700 watts. So again, we've gone with the Thermaltake Smart. It is what it is. It's a budget power supply. We've used it in each of these videos so far, and I think it's a fair comparison because it leaves you enough upgrade room to upgrade your graphics card or your CPU down the line, but it is, you know, it's not a great power supply, but it's good enough for the system that we are building. So, you know, it's not the best looking thing, it's not the most modern thing, it's not modular or anything like that, but it's going to do the job as long as you don't overload it. And yeah, if you do want to spend a bit more, I would recommend that. I'm not saying that I recommend buying this. I'm just saying for the price, it makes a lot of sense because it is only $55. Finally, moving on to the case. I've got to say I'm pleasantly surprised with the case options that they have at Best Buy. This is a case that I've built in personally. I built a computer in this case for a client about a year ago, and I was so impressed. It's not an expensive case. It's $65 for and this is an E80X case, right? So even if that is a made-up form factor, it is big. It's a big case. It supports big radiators, lots of fans. It comes with a few fans. So and these are big fans, like the old Cooler Master ones you used to get. If you're my age, you'll know what I'm talking about. But it has a panel on the side, a glass panel. It's a good looking case. If you're someone that doesn't like RGB, like the client I built it for hated RGB, so they just said, just give me a good looking, good airflow case that I can just put under my desk and forget about. And this is perfect for that kind of thing. Now, this is too big to be compared to a Steam machine, but if you are just going to put it inside your TV cabinet or your TV console, then, you know, that would work. But again, I always say when it comes to cases, take a look around. There are many cases, and you know, just because someone recommends something doesn't mean you have to get it. Cases are relatively good quality, most of them, and then you have your main brands. You know, some main budget brands like Antec provide, and Montec as well, provide good cases for under $70. So there are a lot of options. You just have to choose something that works for you. Now, let's talk about the price, and it's not going to be good. So let's open up the calculator here. We're coming in for the motherboard at $170. The CPU is another $205. Already right under $400. The RAM here is a heavy hitter at $260. The GPU at $245. It's quite a good deal, this. The SSD is coming in at 107. The power supply is going to take us over 1,000 already, coming in at 55. And then the chassis is coming in at 65. So 1,107. This is over budget. It is what it is, but I had to choose parts that were actually in stock. Ideally, being a fair comparison, I would take 2 8 gig sticks of this for half the price if a world like that existed, and that would keep us under budget, but unfortunately it doesn't. So my recommendation when you buy from Best Buy is don't buy from Best Buy, I guess, unless you're looking for specific deals. This motherboard deal, not the best. CPU, not the best. RAM, terrible. GPU, pretty good. So there are some deals to be had. I mean, this NVMe is not too bad. The case is pretty cheap. The power supply is pretty cheap. So there are some deals that you can make with Best Buy. I mean, a GPU like this for this price is really not that bad. I would recommend using something like this. So there are things you can do, but I mean, paying $1,100 for a computer like this just doesn't make sense at the end of the day, and I just wouldn't do it. But fortunately, they do offer pre-built computers. Now this is an iBuyPower computer, but it just makes more sense because it's got a better graphics card. It's got the upgraded version, the 5060. It's got the same RAM really. These are just RGB sticks of RAM. It's got the same storage. I'm not sure about speed, but for the price, it's got technically a better CPU. Not everyone's a fan of Intel these days, but it's a good CPU. I'm not sure if it's a 6 or an 8 core. I'm pretty sure it's an 8 core, right? Because it is a i7 14th gen. This website's very slow for me. Oh, it's a 20 core, so I'm not sure how many of those are actual cores, but I mean, it's a lot better than a 7600. It just says 20 cores, so it's probably like 8 or 12 core physical cores and some efficiency cores in there as well. But the point is, it's going to be better than a 7600. It is still DDR5, it's still current generation. I mean, for Intel, this is actually current generation. So this PC is more than $100 cheaper than the one we could build, and it's better in, I think, every way. I mean, the GPU is 15-20% better, the CPU is 30-40% better, the RAM is pretty much the same, the NVMe is pretty much the same. So I mean, the case, it is what it is. This case doesn't look bad. It's not going to be for everyone. It does have a lot of lighting, and it seems to have a little CPU cooler there, so that's a bonus. And of course you do get some e-waste with it. Now, these aren't great, but you can use them. If your budget is precisely $1,000, you can use this keyboard and mouse. You'll just have to replace them eventually. So if you do buy from Best Buy, maybe take a look at the pre-built gaming computers before trying to build one yourself, unless you're there for a specific deal. So, in some ways I was pleasantly surprised by Best Buy. In some ways I was underwhelmed as well. I guess it just depends what you're looking for specifically. All in all, I would say Best Buy so far has been the weakest choice to look at when we're comparing against a Steam machine. But on the other hand, if you think about it, a PC like this destroys a Steam machine. I mean, it's the truth. And if the Steam machine does come in now with the RAM issues over $1,000, this just makes so much more sense. Just put Steam OS on a PC like this and it's going to be a lot better. So next up, we're going to look at another store. I'm not sure which one yet. I want to do a second-hand build as well, and maybe a Java one, maybe a Facebook one. We'll see about that. But for now, Best Buy, not the best. Pre-built though, you should consider. So that's going to be about it for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.